The second question was Ruth Bratt. The subject was expanding access to plant-based foods, and it was to be addressed to Councillor Mark Roberts.
Good evening. When you think about the causes of global warming, fossil fuels usually spring to mind. But according to Project Drawdown, food emissions, particularly from meat and dairy and food waste, are actually the number one cause of global warming, along with energy. 134 nations, including the UK, signed a COP28 declaration in December, pledging a food system transformation to combat climate change by incorporating food impacts into climate action plans before COP30. I believe we should lead by example, and Council should develop food strategies alongside existing climate, biodiversity and food poverty action plans. So will Stockport join 24 councils worldwide, including Edinburgh, Norwich, Lambeth, Exmouth and Haywards Heath in the UK, and endorse the Plant-Based Treaty Initiative and take meaningful steps to expand access to healthy plant-based food. A 2023 detailed analysis of UK diets found that plant-based diets result in 75% less greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, and land use than diets in which more than 100 grams of meat a day was eaten. Plant-based diets also cut the destruction of wildlife by 66% and water use by 54%. Less than 1/3 of adults manage to eat the NHS recommended 5 portions of fruit and vegetables per day. So by helping the community access plant-based food through council events, schools and public education, it will not only help lower Stockport's carbon footprint, but have positive impacts on the health of our community. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Councillor Mark Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for your question, Mrs. Pratt, and Happy New Year to you. It's fair to say that agriculture and the food that we eat does play a big part in the carbon emissions that we generate, and it's certainly one of the areas that we have to consider. However, we do need to take our community with us if we're to make a difference. The plant-based treaty goes much further than simply promoting, I believe, a climate-friendly lifestyle. If this were its primary aim, I believe it would urge a more realistic and sustainable approach to meat and animal production and consumption. I appreciate that you might not agree with me, but it is my view that the plant-based treaty is more about championing veganism than tackling climate change. I do welcome that it's easier than ever to be vegetarian or vegan and should choose that lifestyle. However, this is a choice and it should not be forced on people, as I fear the plant-based treaty gets very close to. I'd rather see a more sustainable approach championed, part of a healthy, balanced diet, whether vegan, vegetarian, or an omnivorous approach. The key has to be to supporting local farmers, eating seasonal foods where possible, and supporting them to look after the environment as part of their role as custodians of the countryside. There are also many parts of the plant-based treaty that are not within the gift of the council to determine, so I don't believe, as a council, that we would end up signing up to that treaty. That being said, I agree. Food production and consumption are major drivers of climate change, with greenhouse gas emissions arising from land use change, fertiliser use, livestock, energy used within the supply chain, and the energy used to prepare food, and the impacts of food waste. Evolving food production, shifting to more sustainable diets, and reducing food waste can help mitigate climate change and improve food security. But alongside this, the cost of living crisis and inflation is having a significant impact on the food availability and affordability within Stockport. This means that many households are struggling to afford basic food items, especially those on low incomes or benefits. And we recognise that food security and sustainability are timely and pertinent issues in Stockport. And in response, Stockport Council has, over the past year and a half, been leading work to establish a Stockport Food Partnership, which is made up of representatives from health, education, businesses, the voluntary sector, communities and the public sector. all of these areas to strengthen our food system. Within the environmental area, actions around food production, consumption and waste are being developed. The Stockport Food Partnership will be the channel to drive the change locally, and the next stage of the Food Partnership's development will see key objectives being agreed and action groups being established to lead on each action. And we'd like to extend an invitation to you or anybody else interested to join that food partnership and be a part of the movement locally. If that would be of interest, please do get in touch with the climate team at stockport.gov.uk, who can be able to link you into that partnership work for that balanced approach that we seek across the borough. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you again for your question.